To me, hover rounds are like the lazy river inner tube for fat people of life. It's just like... I just thought I'd say that. There are two types of poor that I've been involved with in my life. One is government cheese poor, and the other one is Christmas welfare party poor. Now, for those of you who are too young to understand what the fuck government cheese is a big-ass block of cheese that you can't even cut with a fucking skill saw if you wanted to, that the government will give to you if you're like so fucking poor or whatever. So I lived on like 138 acres of land when I was a kid. And I know that sounds like a lot. It's like, man, you know, that's a lot of fucking land. Like, that costs like a lot of money to own that land. Well, it does. But let me tell you, what was situated on the nearest corner to the greatest amount of highway was what could only be described as the poster child for meth trailers. and this is where I lived. Well, my grandparents like hardly ever came. Well, actually, I think the only time they ever came to visit us was just one time, and that time, for some fucking reason, they decided that they were going to bring a camcorder from like the 1980s, and if everybody knows what like camcorder from the 1980s was like the size of a fucking Buick. So anyway, they bring that with them, and it's the one time, and for some reason, my brother decides to run out. And he's like, hey, you guys want some hot chocolate? The Boy Scouts brought it for us. And I was like, what the fuck? Now, to me, there's nothing that screams more poverty than when the Boy Scouts bring me some fucking food. So the messed up part about this is that my grandparents were filming something that was going to be like a part of a compilation of all of our families, and they were just going around seeing everybody. And then they were going to gift this to everybody for Christmas. So we all have our Christmas, and then the tapes get passed out, and then inevitably one gets put in. And then my whole fucking family sees how unbelievably disgustingly poor we are, which is just so awesome. I just love them, and I still get shit from till this day. For those of you who don't know what a welfare Christmas party is, a welfare Christmas party is like held by the Salvation Army or like Goodwill, and it's like, we're going to invite you for some shitty ass chips and soda, and we're going to give you secondhand gifts that we could not even fucking sell. So, here I am getting like a shirt of the wrong Super Bowl team winning. I was like, what the fuck? Like, nothing says happiness and joy than a shitty fucking, like, little water jet thing that you gotta get the ring on that little spider. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Hold on a second. I just really think that's funny because I lived it. So it gets worse, you know, it's bad enough, like, you get invited to something like this and you're forced to, like, stand around and, like, you gotta be part of all this horrible shit with all these other horrible, really poor people, and you're looking at each other, like, wondering who's the poorest and everything like that. Well, I think it was my mom, because, like, on their tables, they had, like, these centerpieces. It was, like, a big plastic block of cheese, and then the center was a fucking mouse. So my mom, in all of her poverty, decided that she needed that centerpiece more than anyone else. So we left with a bunch of shitty fucking gifts and a mouse and a big-ass block of cheese. I really feel bad for pets who fly, and like the reason why is like, you know, they have people who are giving medicine and it's like, alright, you know, let's hope it takes, but sometimes that shit doesn't take, and sometimes some guy gets a circumcision and it hurts like a motherfucker. So they gotta like put these pets on airplanes, and I just can't imagine, like, if they give them sedatives, sometimes I'm sure a sedative doesn't take, so what if it's like a parrot that's given a sedative? I can't imagine what the fucking squawking would be like back there. It's like underneath the car going, back when wisps first came around, I had a girlfriend and I had the fortune of riding with her in the car. That was it. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I had the fortune to receive what I call a magic car ride. So I get a magic car ride from her while we're driving, and I just by happenstance had a wisp in my center console, and I was like, hey. I wanted to say it so badly, but I was holding back from it. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to say it. And I was like, you want a wisp?